has been at Innocent for 7 years with just one mission: to help people work better and go home happy. Working as the internal communications manager for Innocent Drinks, Tim will share tangible and achievable tools and techniques that any business could put into practice at their place of work. And whether you're focusing on creating community and teams, being innovative when there isn't money to spend, or generally creating the right business environment. So welcome, Tim.
Hi everybody, look at this. I've got my own Innocent backdrop. I'm actually based in our northwest London office, Fruit Towers, so it's great to be here with you today. So yeah, as was said, I've been at Innocent for just over 7 years now, and my mission is to help people work to the best of their ability and go home happy. And we'll come on to that going home section a little bit later. But for those of you that don't know, Innocent was set up by 3 best friends. And I think that's really important for the narrative of the organisation and the culture that we have. They were 3 best friends that went to Cambridge University together. They did lots of club nights and big social activities that they set up together. So when they left Cambridge, they knew that they wanted to set up a business for themselves. And the first business the 3 best friends came up with, these Cambridge educated gents, was electric baths. And the idea was that you would set the temperature of your water, the volume of water that you wanted, and the time that you wanted your bath. Now, unbelievably, nobody invested in this awful idea. So what they did was they went on a skiing holiday, and they did what any good skiers do, and they got very, very drunk while après skiing. And the next morning they went to the shops. They wanted to have a drink that would help them feel like they could get through this awful hangover. And there was nothing on the shelf. There was absolutely nothing on that shelf that made them feel like they were going to live through a hangover. And that is genuinely where the idea of Innocent was born. Now, what they did was they came back to the UK, they set up a stand at Parsons Green Jazz Festival. And on this stand, there were 2 bins. And above this, it said, should we give up our day jobs to make smoothies? And at the festival, they sold all these smoothies throughout the weekend. And the story goes that at the end of the weekend, all of the cups were in the yes bin. So they did. The next day they went in and they quit their jobs. And already that tells you that listening to the other people and the people around you can be so powerful and effective. And that is really where Innocent was born. Now, something that we have always done is we have underpinned our business with our purpose, our vision, and our values. And that really is not just another company that shoves it on the wall so that when people come around for tours, you can say, look at our purpose, our vision, and our values. You don't just find it on our website. We really do live and die by those points. So our purpose is to make delicious natural drinks that help people live well and die old. Our vision is to be the Earth's favourite little healthy food and drinks company. And our values are to be natural, entrepreneurial, responsible, commercial, and generous. And we as a business feel that our culture is all pinned by those values. We are a people and culture-led business. So if we aren't really putting our people at the forefront of what we do, and we're not communicating with each other, there's no connection with the business and what we do. So as I said, my job was, or sort of is, to make sure that Fruit Towers, our office in northwest London, is a great place to be. We want people to come in excited to do the jobs they do. We want to enable them to be able to work to the best of their abilities and go home with a smile on their face. That was easy at the beginning of this year. We have a fantastic office. There's AstroTurf on the walls, on the floors. We had a fantastic time. And then we also, at the end of last year, spent hundreds of thousands of pounds completely transforming our building. We took out 50% of the desks because everyone used to have their own solo working space. We took all of those out to create a collaborative hot desking system, which as of March of this year essentially became illegal because of COVID-19. We had to ask everyone to move from one central space where people can work, communicate and collaborate together to set up 400 individual communities, 400 individual cultures where, as you can see from the background behind me, the brand really sings true through this building. How could we connect with people and make sure that they feel like we need them to stay true to our purpose, our vision and our values? And the only way to do that was to communicate. So what did we do? The first thing we did was we looked at our tone of voice. What does it mean to be innocent? We say it means you are honest, you are natural, and you are engaging. And the reason we say those 3 words is because they are individual for every single person in this business. We want you to be natural. We want you to bring yourself to work. We want that best version of yourself. That doesn't lose sight, whether you are working at home, working in our French office, our Irish office, our UK office, or as we are all now, satellited. And what we have wanted to do is we want to make people smile. We want to make people feel like they are listened to. We, as the comms team and the culture team, we're as much as an employee going through this as anybody else. Asking those questions, taking it right back to the bare bones. Don't try and solve the problem. Let your community solve that problem. Asking them and treating them like a human. For me, that's the most important thing we did with our comms when we went into COVID. It was taking away the work stuff, and it was asking how they are. Responding to that, really listening and trying to support those people takes the culture from your solo central place and makes it feel like a community. Great communication creates community. And whether that be virtually, via Microsoft Teams, Zoom as we're using now, a telephone, a text, make that an open forum. Make that something that people really can join to. We did lots of things that other businesses have done. We did Zoom quizzes. We had a jukebox guy that came and sang any song that you wanted, lots of those things. Every team really took their responsibility to make sure that everyone felt connected. The hardest thing I had to do this year was to cancel our summer event. Every year we take all 600 members of the Innocent staff, so that's everyone across 14 offices around Europe, and we take them for a 3-day event somewhere in Europe. So that's a half-day conference and then a 3-day party, essentially. And we had to cancel it for the first ever time. We wanted to recognise that this moment that we all have, again, to communicate, to be together, has lost. And we wanted to recognise the hard work, and people deserve a moment to celebrate. So we went through so many different ideas of what we could do. What is it going to be that's going to help us get to a place where people feel recognised? Do we send them a box of treats? Do we send them an eye mask? Do we send them subscriptions to things? And we boiled it right down to people want to be thanked. People want that ultimate thing that they have been sacrificing during this time, and that is time. How you recognise that the hours that people have been putting in and the pressure that people have been put under, recognise that we as a business are grateful. So the best way for us, we felt, to communicate that was we gave everybody an extra day's holiday. Now, that might not seem like a lot, but it's incredibly sustainable. It doesn't cost the business any much, and it's equal for everyone. Everyone at Innocent is going through the same thing. Whether you are an IT apprentice, whether you are the CEO, we are all going through something together. So we need to celebrate and recognise that togetherness and create equality around that success. And that's really important for us. With external communications as a brand, we did what we do really well. For those of you that follow us on Instagram, Facebook or Twitter, you will know that we are best at putting absolute nonsense out on the internet. That is what we're best at. And so that is what we did. We didn't want to go down the unprecedented times kind of status. We know everyone's doing that. So how do we connect with our drinkers? How do we communicate with the people out there? By staying true to who we are, by going back to our tone of voice, be honest, be natural, and be engaging. Be who we are. So on the first day, we put out a poem. I'm going to read a tiny little bit of that poem for you. The end of that said, "We're going to keep looking after everyone who works here. We're going to give away every spare drink to someone who needs it. We're going to try our hardest to bring people together. And we're going to keep posting nonsense on the internet to try and make you laugh." And that's what we did. We rerouted hundreds of thousands of drinks to the people that needed it most during the time. It didn't feel right on our social media to try and sell drinks. That's not what people need during a global pandemic. We don't want to encourage people going to the shop. We want to encourage happiness. We want to encourage connection, community. And again, the best way to do that is to communicate on a human level. So for me, the last thing I wanted to say was we had a really wonderful story from our CEO. Our CEO, Douglas Lamont, has been at Innocent for about 9 years, very nearly 10 years actually. And he put together a video to say hello and thank you to everybody. It was just a little iPhone video, sent it around to everyone. And in that, he told us a story of being at the first board meeting after we'd asked to go into lockdown. And Douglas said that during that meeting, he was there talking to the leaders of his business, going, we are about to go into some really tough times as a business. We're going to really struggle here. And he heard a knock at the door, and his daughter came in and whispered in his ear, Daddy, I've wet my knickers. Now, that might not sound much for communication, but at that moment, again, our senior leadership team recognised that everyone is going through something here. Everyone is going to have, whether it be their daughter wetting their pants or someone working on a bedside table, to be open, to be recognising the work that people are doing, not trying to brush it under the carpet. Treat people as human beings, because in this situation, that's absolutely what we are. We are all going through exactly the same thing. So treat people equally. Say thank you and mean it. This is hopefully the worst thing that we will ever go through. And we want to share the good bits and we want to share the bad bits. So for me, working for this business as long as I have, and the pride that I think clearly I have for working for this business, is because throughout this, I've been treated as a human, not a member of staff, not another number on the pay grade, a human. I am Tim and I've gone through stuff, and I've been encouraged to tell my team that I'm here to listen to them, to ask them how they're going. And that's the same for our drinkers. The people out there are going through way more things than which smoothie to buy. Communicate with people on a human level. That is where you get connection. That is where you get community. Thank you very much.